So in that way, is it the body that's dancing or is it the mind that's dancing? So last month we had P.T. Narendran sir over at Narendran and he was conducting workshops and all that, and anyone that's been to any of P.T. sir's workshops knows that no workshop or class is complete without a bit of a philosophy, psychology lesson in between. So I thought today I'll share 3 of those lessons that I learned and kind of really stuck with me, and how I use this knowledge that I gained from these workshops and how I apply it to my day-to-day life, I guess. So throughout our workshops, PT sir was very particular on the fact that we don't use the mirror as a way of checking whether we're doing something right. He's always like, you can feel if you're doing it right or not, use the mirror within. And that kind of reminded me of the quote, "Today I am not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am." I know this sounds like something Swami Nityananda would say.
So that me, through this me, talking to me.
And I don't know whose quote this actually is, but really it's just the idea that when we think of ourselves, we're actually thinking of a reflection of ourselves. And in Carl Jung's theory of the archetypes within the collective unconscious, this thing is referred to as the persona. It's the social mask that we wear in order to fit in with society.
Rukshikaa, I did not come here for a lecture.
Like for so long I had thought that I was an introvert. To be honest, I am pretty reserved. But if I had allowed that image of me being closed off Rukshikaa to sit in my unconscious, then I'm probably going to behave in ways that feed into that image. And the only way to break that is through this process that Jung calls individuation, which is basically the idea of self-realization and using that mirror within that P.T. sir was talking about. So in one of the classes there was this incident where one of the girls was trying to do just the takita takadimi, but for some reason she wasn't able to get the legs right, and then sir was like, say takita takadimi and do it. And she did, and she immediately got it. And then at that point he was like, whenever your body is doing something different, ask yourself what your mind is thinking. This concept that the mind is the dancer and it's not actually the body that's dancing, I found really interesting, and it only hit me then. It's something that's been said a lot, but when someone, like one particular incident just like clicks and then you kind of understand it. So that was that for me, because a lot of the time when we think dance, we think it's like a physical thing, I'm doing this, am I dancing? But what is instructing me to dance? It's my mind, right? So in that way, is it the body that's dancing or is it the mind that's dancing? That perspective on Bharathanatyam kind of was like, okay, I understand why. It helped me realize why focusing our mind and controlling our mind is so important when it comes to Bharathanatyam, especially because there's some dances that are more physically demanding, but I don't really get tired from dancing it. But then there's some items that aren't as physically demanding, but I'm like exhausted after dancing it. And then it only hit me now that it's because it requires more mental effort. So in a way, Bharathanatyam dances are beyond just training our body, but we're also training our mind. During one of the classes, I was explaining the story of the Parkadal and how the Devas and Asuras had to work together to churn the ocean and get the Amrita. At that point, he's like, have you ever noticed how powerful negative things can be? Given that the Devas are kind of like a representation of all good, and Asuras are kind of a representation of all evil and negative qualities. The fact that the Devas had to use the help of the Asuras in order to churn the ocean kind of alluded to the strength that Asuras or negativity had, which immediately reminded me of the concept of the negativity bias, which is basically the idea that our human brains are surprisingly good at remembering negative stimuli. For example, if I was to have received some feedback for some assignment, and majority is like positive feedback, but then there's like this one comment at the end that's like, but you could have done this, my brain is more likely to store that one negative feedback. So that's the idea of the negativity bias, which is extremely relevant at a time like this when it is so easy to kind of curl up into this ball of negativity, which is why it's so important to try to focus on the good things. And I'm telling this to myself because I don't know anyone that has mastered the ability to not be affected by negative things. But I do know the more we focus on the good things, the better we get at it. And with that, I really do hope that everyone is safe, happy and healthy. And if you have made it this far into the video, thank you. I appreciate you. Because to be honest, I don't think I would have listened to myself rant for this long.